Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Air It Out podcast.
What
Today,
up?
I have myself, Stan, Yuri, and Mr. Know-It-All himself, Igor, on the show. We busy week in preseason football, guys. First, I guess let's start with the bombshell news of the weekend. Andrew Luck decided to call it quits in arguably the prime of his career. I want to know what your thoughts on this were.
So let me start this Andrew Luck situation off because I'm definitely about to air it out. And my thoughts about the Andrew Luck situation, it's simple. And I've been listening to sports radio, and all of the people, all of the hosts on sports radio, they have a different take on this. And Michael Kay, who I respect a lot, he called people that have a take similar to mine unintelligent. So, Michael Kay, I respect you, but fuck you. Here's my take on Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck is a bitch-made man. If a plumber has an injury and chooses not to be a plumber anymore, that's life. It bees that way. Andrew Luck decided to go into football. He has a team of people, a city, a state. They're relying on him. And when you choose to go into football and make millions of dollars, you need to expect that you're going to get hurt and you're going to have to rehab and you're going to have to suck it up and play. Andrew Luck decided, I have my millions now. Why am I rehabbing? I'm a bitch-made man. I'm just going to retire. That's bullshit because the Colts built around him. They built that offensive line so he doesn't get sacked as often. They got him weapons to throw to. They got him a running back that can run. That team is set up to win now.
All the pieces are there. They got a defense.
They got a defense. And with Andrew Luck retiring, that team can be in last place.
I don't think so.
I also don't think that they're going to be in last place because, again, they built everything around him. So I think they're going to win 6 games. Huh?
You mean overall or in the division?
No, I mean overall. They're going to get like 6 wins, 7 wins. But they're a 10-11 win team with Andrew Luck. He let the city down. He let his teammates down. And I think that if you ask his teammates, to be honest, from the bottom of their heart, what they think about Andrew Luck, and they're going to say that he's a bitch-made man. That's my thoughts.
I partially agree with you. I don't want to say I lost respect for him, but my biggest problem with this whole situation is the timing of it. If you were considering retiring, you've been considering it for a while. He didn't just wake up yesterday and decided I'm done. So I felt like he at least owed his teammates to keep them in the loop that this was on the table. In that case, Indianapolis could have ran this offseason totally differently. They could have invested in a quarterback, 4th, 5th round in the draft. They could have signed Josh McCown, who the Eagles brought in.
They could have traded for Rosen.
They could have traded for Rosen, another good example. They could have went after Teddy Bridgewater. They're the plethora of options they could have gone, but they thought they were set. They thought they had Luck, who was probably going to be back, and if not, they had a serviceable backup in Jacoby Brissett, arguably the best backup in the league. I disagree with your take that they're a 6-win team right now. I think they're about an 8-8 team. I think the depth of the roster overall is still better than just about every other team in that division. So I think that's going to show. It's not all on the quarterback. But to call Luck a bitch-made man, I feel like is over the top. If you watch his highlight videos from early in his career, when he was putting up those monster numbers, the dude was getting destroyed. He was jumping through the line. He had no protection whatsoever. He was playing like Cam Newton with Andrew Luck's body. And, I mean, he just broke down. Sometimes that happens. That's essentially what happened to Gronk. But Gronk did it the right way. He told them early in the offseason, I'm out, and they were able to supplement the roster properly. Luck just pulled the carpet right out from under them, and he fucked over his team.
I need to chime in. So, first of all, welcome my nation, Mr. Know-It-All Nation, up in this podcast. First of all. Second of all, let me tell you something about Andrew. Andrew Luck is a problem of our society. That is, this society is a weak society. We can't even call this bitch motherfucker out right now because of society. Oh my God, he's got health problems. Oh my God, he's got a hurt neck and now his ankle hurts. He has to retire for playing football. Give me his skill set. I'd be playing football. I'll play special teams, motherfucker. I'll play any fucking position they allow me to play. That's what I'll do. This guy was born, raised, and bred to be a football player. He's 29 years old. I wish I could retire at my age. I'm not going to let anyone know my age. It's definitely over 29,
What are
though.
you? What are you, a lady?
Listen to me. Just hear me
I'm
out.
not gonna tell anybody
It's
your
a
age.
societal issue. It's a societal issue. He's a bitch, and he will always remain a bitch. Rob Gronkowski is a man. You know why he's a man? Because right now he's like, oh, you listen, I'm healed up. I'm ready to go. Call me up, Tom Brady.
So if Andrew Luck comes back next year, you're gonna be down
Andrew
for
Luck
it.
will forever be a bitch, and he cemented himself as a bitch by letting down a whole city. I will be at Monmouth on Sunday, taking the Colts to be the worst team in the league at 18-1, and I'm going to show everybody the ticket. You
Nah,
will
no
see.
chance. No chance.
Listen to me. You can't do this to an organization. You can't do this to a franchise
I'm not
that had
saying
a
it's not a
quarterback
dick move.
like Peyton Manning that played through who knows what. Brett Favre, give him Andrew Luck's injuries, he'll laugh it off and throw his left hand and play better.
Dude,
That's what
let me
about.
chime in. It's his fucking ankle. It's his fucking ankle. He has an ankle sprain. He's tired of rehabbing. Boo hoo!
Supposedly,
I'm
I
tired of
read that it
fucking
could turn into
rehabbing.
an Achilles tear. That's like where these injuries progress to.
They're gonna progress to an Achilles
Yeah, I
tear.
mean, like that. If he plays through it, that's the most likely exacerbation of it. If that's the case, I mean, I don't really want to fuck with a torn Achilles.
Dude, that's worst case scenario.
I
That's worst case
just want one
scenario.
more thing. Look at DeMarcus Cousins. I know I'm jumping sports, but look at DeMarcus Cousins. My man torn his Achilles, tore his quad. He was back in a month playing in the NBA
DeMarcus Cousins is
Finals.
trying to get paid.
He needs money, DeMarcus
Yeah,
Cousins.
DeMarcus
I
Cousins
mean, I
got
don't know his.
DeMarcus Cousins is a man. You know what I mean? He would have gotten paid more than 3.5 million
You're
that he got
testing
paid
me
if he
here.
would have said.
All right,
Whatever.
so back to Andrew Luck here. Um, it's his ankle, number one. It's not anything serious. Number two, if I were the Colts and they for some reason decided to give him $25 million that they're entitled to recoup, I'd be like, fuck you. Give me back 50.
They're letting
They
him
let him.
keep it.
Yes. That's
I don't
fucking
know. Maybe
bullshit.
he's really fucked up, and he's fucked up because the Colts fucked him over.
Dude,
He
the
had no
Colts,
line his whole
they
career.
paid him
I
millions
mean,
of dollars.
Okay, and he worked for those millions. He's not getting
That's
paid the
what
rest of
you
his
sign up
contract.
for. Garbage men outside, they don't get
I
millions of
agree.
dollars.
I
They
agree.
work harder than Andrew Luck.
Fine.
My
Granted,
dad works harder than Andrew
I'm
Luck.
sure. I'm
Nobody
sure,
gives him $25 million.
but he doesn't have to
Mr.
work anymore. He's supposed to.
Know-it-all works harder. Mr.
No,
Fucking
but
Know-it-all.
like if he's not
Yeah,
happy, he's
sure.
supposed to fuck up the rest of his life so you feel better about yourself. No, fuck
No,
that.
don't go into football then. Be a high school teacher. You don't
Fine.
want people to
Did
rely
he
on you?
not? The
Be a high school
years
teacher.
that he got paid for, he showed up and
People rely
played.
on their teachers.
People rely on their teachers, but I'm saying if at the end of the year the teacher says, I'm out, they'll find another high school teacher.
And they'll
If
find
you
Yeah,
another
can't,
but what he
quarterback.
did, he retired in September. That's what he did.
Guys,
That's
why
what
did
happened.
Jacoby Brissett fuck around and put up a solid season?
you know what? I
A
hope that
solid
he
season
does.
for
That's
Jacoby
Tyrod
Brissett.
Taylor upside.
Other
He
than
can do
Mr.
work in that team.
Know-it-all's crazy bet, I actually hope that Jacoby Brissett does well for that team because that team deserves it. They built around the quarterback. They
It
did
would be
everything they
a
can
solid.
to keep Andrew
I'm gonna
Luck
cheer
safe.
for that team all year. I hope Brissett kills it.
All right, I think we should move on. What's topic number 2?
I think. Go ahead,
Topic
Stan.
number 2 is on the topic of money. Zeke and Gordon not having enough of it, and the implications if their holdout lasts into the season has on the rest of that offense.
Look at
Anybody
Stan
want to
throwing an
take
audible.
what?
Stan throwing an audible here. I thought we were talking about situations to watch, Stanley.
Yeah, situations to watch. The offenses in LA and Dallas and the impact of not having their number one running backs on it. Who improves, who goes down. What are your thoughts?
Well, I'm watching a different situation, so why don't you guys talk about that?
Give me a different situation. Give a different situation. I don't care.
No, why don't you guys talk about what Stan brought up? Go ahead.
All right, I'll start.
I
So
mean, bro,
I just like to say that I drafted the guy Justin Jackson. I'm going to be starting him. I think that's his name, right?
Justin Jackson, yeah.
He Yeah. So he was good in his like limited amount of starts that he got, or whatever splits that he got with Eckler. And if I don't have a player that I'm very confident in, I start Justin Jackson if Melvin Gordon's out, just because I know he's getting 15 to 20 touches, simply because Eckler is more of a third down, catch the
Yeah, he's
ball
getting the
kind of
goal
running
line
back.
work too. I think this is the guy that gets the biggest boost from Gordon being out is actually Hunter Henry, because I think they'll be more inclined to throw in the red zone, and Antonio Gates's safety net isn't there anymore. So
True.
Hunter Henry, and to a lesser extent Mike Williams, actually get a big boost,
I,
potentially putting up touchdowns in bunches early on until Gordon comes back.
I mean, Hunter Henry, we don't even know if he has that step that he had ahead of everybody
Well,
before his injury.
if you're in the red zone, you don't really need to have that break. You just need to box somebody out, and he'll be able to do
He's
that.
big. He's big. I agree, but I don't like. I don't know. I'm not high on Eckler, and Justin Jackson's fine. Like he's okay. Do I think they need a running back? I mean, weren't they working with Danny Woodhead for the longest? What I mean is that Keenan Allen and Mike Williams and the rest of and Philip Rivers being the veteran quarterback, I don't think they need that like stud running back like
But if
Melvin
you look at their offense the last couple of years, Gordon has been among the league leaders in touchdowns. So the
Correct.
touchdowns that they're scoring, a lot of
Yeah.
times Gordon is
Yeah.
punching that in. So
Yes.
essentially, you have to turn around your goal line offense, which is not a small deal. So
Yeah,
something
but
that's been.
they also had like what 4 weeks to work. I mean, like a
I'm
long
not
time.
saying it can't be done. I'm just saying it's going to be a big shift. And Rivers
Uh,
being. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say their week one matchup is against the Colts, so I don't think they need anyone. They can play without Philip Rivers and win that game. So
You're disrespecting. The
I'm
Yeah,
Colts are
dude,
going
their
to be
defense is
decent.
still
Jacoby
good.
Brissett. I'm sorry, Jacoby Brissett, for disrespecting you.
Not
Don't you
Jacoby
sully
Brissett, the
the
rest
good
of the
name of
team.
Jacoby Brissett. Who the fuck do you think you are?
I am Mr. Know-It-all.
Get the fuck out of here.
So what's
Really
your
quick,
situation?
my thoughts about those two situations is this is just speculation, but the Cowboys need Zeke. They're going to pay him. Zeke
I
is coming
agree.
back week one. He may be a little rusty. He may pick up like a minor
They're not going to
injury.
need him against the Giants.
The Cowboys need Zeke generally. He'll be
No, I
back by week one.
understand, but if he's rusty, they can give Pollard half the carries week one.
They could, exactly. You're right. And the Chargers actually don't need Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon needs the Chargers. Melvin Gordon needs to get paid. He's going to
Yeah.
shut the fuck up, take whatever they're offering him, and he's going to play. That's my
I
prediction for
think
that.
Gordon might sit out until after week 6. Because I think you need to come back week 6 to be able to get enough service time to be a free agent. So he might just give them a big fuck you and sit out 5 weeks.
Also, I didn't really Google how many kids he has and if he has any child support payments, so I'm not sure what his
He might
financial
have no
situation is.
children.
He might. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I didn't Google. Anything is possible. My
I think
situations
by
to what? Go ahead, Igor.
sorry. I think Zeke. I think Zeke is a top 2 to 3. I think he's the best running back in this league. So, and I'm just gonna put that out there. Zeke is the best downhill runner in the league. There's no questions asked.
Mr.
Kamara and Saquon
Igor,
Barkley are.
you're frozen. This is the problem of being
Oh no,
homeless.
am I still
Despite
frozen?
being Mr. Know-It-all, you're homeless. You're living
Yeah,
in a
man, you
car.
need to be Mr. Wi-Fi.
What
Am
car
I
are you
frozen
living in?
still?
Hopefully, it's still a nice car.
That's all right.
Dude, go to
Where's
Starbucks.
am I still frozen?
No, you're not frozen anymore, but you're still living in a car.
Well, listen.
Where do you
Sometimes
shower?
there's something back here in the trunk. I always keep some spare.
You like wipe yourself with like
toilet
wet wipes
paper.
or something at least?
I have deodorant.
You
Don't
use the
pretend.
carburetor to make food. Do cars still have carburetors?
What is a carburetor?
Oh goodness gracious! All right, let's get to this. I think I don't have much more power in my phone. I have 22%. So
All right, I'm going to go through this really quick. My situations to watch. Houston running back situation. Duke right now is the lead back. I don't think he can carry the team. I think that Houston makes a trade. There was news today about Kenyon Drake might be traded to Houston. That would be very interesting.
With Stills.
Sorry?
It was with Stills.
Yes.
Which he would blow up there.
Right. Shady. That's my personal opinion. I think that Shady's extra over there. They have 3 running backs, and if they can
It's
get
a big
something,
contract though.
another reason to trade him.
Does Houston have the cap
Shady
space? If
to
they're not
Philly.
going to pay Jadavion, they're going to pay Shady.
They're not going to pay Jadavion anyway.
That's why I think Drake is the likely thing that goes
It's
down here.
possible. Or Jay Ajayi is left without a job. He might be somebody that they bring in.
Carlos
So-
Hyde could be cut.
Carlos Hyde. So Houston is a situation that I'm watching. I'm watching the Cardinals wide receiver situation, their third wide receiver situation, because locked in is Fitz and Kirk. And I know that this collective log isn't high on the Cardinals offense, but I'm kind of high on the Cardinals
You
offense.
think they can support 3 fantasy relevant pass catchers and David Johnson?
Everybody thinks that this is the new Chip Kelly, but if he runs as many plays as he said he's going to run, their third wide receiver might be productive on bye weeks or just might be productive all season.
I mean,
And
fantasy relevant, I guess.
And Keyshawn Johnson, and not to be confused with the great Keyshawn Johnson. This Keyshawn Johnson, do you know how he spells his name, by the way?
Keesean.
This is a man that's been doing his research. You see, this is the man that's been doing his research. So Keyshawn Johnson, last preseason game, 7 receptions, 85 yards. Something that I'm watching. He's a free agent in most of our leagues.
The other guy's Andy Isabella, right?
Yes. And there's a third one. Last but not least, I'm watching the Jets running back situation, and everybody thinks it's kind of simple. It's Lev Bell. I don't know about that anymore.
Montgomery?
Ty Montgomery's not looking bad. It looks like him and Darnold have a connection. I know you drafted Le'Veon Bell, and that's fine. You drafted Le'Veon Bell, Mr. Know-It-All. But watch Ty Montgomery.
Adam Gase is notorious for playing the inferior running back.
Yep.
And he didn't want Bell.
Ask Kenyon Drake.
Yep.
So those are my 3 situations that I'm watching.
Right,
and
I want to do a bold prediction. Hold on, let me do a bold prediction.
Hold on. So let me start with the bold predictions because my Jets running back situation rolls over into my bold prediction.
Okay.
My bold prediction in this year, Le'Veon Bell is an RB2 at best, not an RB1. There's going to be 12 more running backs that are going to be better than him fantasy-wise by the end of the year. Bold prediction 1. Bold prediction 2. Darwin Thompson is a first or second round pick next year. He's going to take over that job week 6, second round pick next year. Bold prediction number 3. And maybe, you guys are going to guess. 2 running backs from the same team are going to end up in the top 12 fantasy points for running backs. What team?
New Orleans?
No. Igor.
Does a quarterback count as a running back?
No.
Let me think about this. Two
running backs from the same team are going to end up in the top 12.
Chicago.
Incorrect. The Patriots, Sony Michel and James White are going to end up in the top 12 overall for running back fantasy points, 0.5 PPR.
Tariq Cohen and whatever other guy that they have.
David Montgomery.
Yeah, I don't think
that's more likely
Cohen's
than
getting
Sony
there.
Michel and James White.
Thanks.
Sorry?
I thought of that on the spot.
I missed that, Stan. What'd you say?
I think that the Chicago situation is more likely to produce that than the New England situation.
Appreciate it.
Do you know that James White was in the top 12 fantasy points for running back last year?
Yeah,
I do, but the Patriots are notorious for Brandon Bolden's going to come back. Rex Burkhead might be.
They drafted a kid too, I think Harris or something.
Yeah, they did. But whatever, it's a bold.
Those 2 running backs do different things.
Stan, let's hear your prediction. Let's hear yours.
My prediction: Miles Sanders will be this year's Alvin Kamara. It is a similar situation to what Kamara came into as a rookie. They had an established plotter in Mark Ingram, who is essentially the Jordan Howard in this situation. They run a lot of RPOs, a lot of passing down to the running back, and Sanders is usable at the goal line. He's very talented. They invested draft capital in him. They're there to use him. They've been yearning for stability at running back basically since they traded Shady for no reason. They went from DeMarco to a bunch of fill-ins. They won the Super Bowl that way, but I think their offense runs best when it's a 2 running back model and everybody has a role. So I predict Miles Sanders will blow up this year and be a first or second round pick next year.
Doug Peterson is going to fuck you on that.
What?
Doug Peterson, the coach, is going to fuck you on that.
He might.
What else
I only have 1.
You got 1. All right. here are the three bold predictions, but none of them are football related because I feel like we talked football too much. So number one, Roger Federer is going to win the U.S. Open. That is probably my boldest prediction. It's more of a fan prediction, and I think that Roger deserves to win the U.S. Open more than him actually having being the best player at the U.S. Open. Obviously, Djokovic is the best player. Nadal is, I think.
Naturally.
What?
Naturally.
Is that even the bold prediction? Isn't he supposed to be good?
Well, he just needs to fulfill his legacy more. He
He's
needs
Isn't he
won
to,
the
good?
US Open before, hasn't he?
Right.
yeah.
Isn't he good?
No, he
It's
needs to
like me
win a
saying,
certain amount. It's like he needs to become like the GOAT, the greatest of all time, and he needs to win a couple of more Grand Slams in order to get
dude,
there.
But
that's
he's
not a bold
still
prediction. It's like me saying the Rams are going to win the World Series. That's my bold
No, no,
prediction.
no, no, no. It's
the
like you
Rams are gonna win the
saying
World Series.
The Rams
it's
are going to win the
it's
Super
like
Bowl.
you saying like Anderson Silva is going to come back and be like this great UFC fighter again or something like
Stan,
that.
I wanted to say Yankees, but I didn't want to jinx
I
it.
know, I know.
That's
Don't
where I
don't,
was
don't
at.
do it. It's
All
not
right, good.
listen.
We're transitioning to baseball. So my second bold prediction is the Oakland Athletics are going to win the World Series. And I actually saw power rankings today by MLB.com, and they have them sixth. A team that's not even making the playoffs currently, they have as the sixth strongest team in the
They're
MLB.
they're the second wild card right now. Tampa fell out of it
But like maybe by half a point, like by a half a
by a
game or a
game.
game.
Yeah, no, it's close.
Yeah,
It's 3 teams for 2 spots right now.
Who blessed you
right.
with that? Who blessed you with that bet, huh?
You did bless me with that. But then the way that I look into all my futures, I look into especially through for baseball, I look to the pitching staff. Pitching staff is solid. They're not good. They're not great. They're good.
The
They're just
pitching
Before
good.
the
staff's a little bit trash. It's a lot of dudes overperforming right now. Mike Fiers and Brett Anderson should not
Yeah.
have the numbers they have right now.
before the season,
Also,
Igor took them to win the World Series, right?
yeah, I got I think 80 or 100 to one, and I think I
So
got them for 100.
I see why that's your bold prediction.
Don't forget about your boy who told you about that.
Listen
I
to me.
don't
I
think
always
they're gonna
take
win
care
the
of
World
everybody.
Series though.
But listen, I can just hedge, that word that used in my other podcast. That's an important word because if hopefully they make it deep, maybe to like the ALCS or something, then I can easily hedge and go the other way, and hopefully I'll pick up something somewhere. Anyway, my third bold prediction, I love this one. This is my favorite one. Is two things. Number one, Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis will take the Dallas Mavericks to a finals and win an NBA championship in their career. Now, that would be the second title for the Dallas Mavericks
That's
ever
this year or in general.
in general. In
Okay.
general, because I can't say the same thing about my Knicks. I can't say that in the next 20 years, right? That's the most that they'll
Stop
play
it.
together.
I
That
think
the
it's a
Knicks will
safe
ever win a
bet to bet
championship.
against that.
Yeah, it's exactly right. I would go against the next 20 years Knicks winning a championship
No, I'll
versus
take that.
Dallas actually winning the championship with Luka Doncic and Porzingis in their career. So give them another 10 years. In the next 10 years, I see them making the playoffs if they stay together 80% of the time. They might not make it this year, but the year after that, I think they're going to be stronger and better, and they're going to build that chemistry, and they're going to go first to the Western Conference Finals and then to win an NBA championship. And then an even bolder prediction is that Kevin Durant will win a title with Kyrie Irving, which they only have 3 years locked in
Is
together.
that even
And
bold?
why is that bold? Why is that not bold? You can't. You can name 7, 8 teams that are better than them right now.
Yeah, because
And
he's injured.
Yeah, but when
no,
he comes
Philly.
back, it's like 3 teams. All in the West.
I don't know.
Maybe,
I would still
maybe.
say Philly's better than them in the
Since
East.
we
I
were
would still
doing
say.
other sports, I have other predictions.
Oh, damn. All right. Let me see what my phone is at because I don't want to just
All
cut off.
right,
I'm 11%.
I'll be quick. I know Igor has
11%.
a lot of unpacking to do in his car.
Yeah, I mean, I got to go to sleep, my friends. Tomorrow's a busy day.
All right. So my other bold prediction is Joe Girardi will be the manager of the Cubs in 2020. He's been waiting out that job basically since he got fired. Madden, I feel like if he doesn't make a playoff run, they're not gonna want to pay him anymore because he makes crazy money off of getting that ring. And that team has been ad. They're looking for a shakeup. Joe Girardi has the cachet to go in there and really take charge of that team, and they're going to make noise in the National League for a bunch of years. They still have a solid core. And my other bold prediction is the Knicks will never win an NBA championship. As long as they play basketball, the Knicks will never win.
Well, the
Wouldn't
Knicks can't play any other
Girardi
sport, so it has to
unite
be
with
basketball.
Theo Epstein then, and like that the camaraderie from Boston and New York that wouldn't work?
Do you
I,
think Theo Epstein can turn the Knicks into a winner? You think he can break that curse?
Not
Cashman
even him.
can.
Not even him.
Cashman can.
If Phil Jackson
How
could
about
do it,
Cashman breaks our 10-year curse?
Phil
Our
Jackson.
watching
10,
this, Brian.
our 10-year curse. Take
We
it
won
easy.
Zion
a
Williamson
chip
would have been
20
able
years.
to do
That
it.
is not the Yankee way.
Also, by the way, I think Girardi may be the Mets manager next year.
I don't
That would
think
be
think
some
so.
shit.
he doesn't want to
And the
deal.
last one, Zion is going to be a top 5 NBA player within 3 years.
That's not bold.
That's bold. That's pretty freaking bold.
A
You
bold
can't do
prediction. LeBron James, good.
All right, with that,
You heard it here
Mr.
first.
Know-It-All Nation, thank you for listening. And,
All right, guys. By the way, Mr. Know-It-All, if you need to shower, you can come to my house.
You sure?
Yeah, I don't want you wiping yourself with the wet wipes. That's not sanitary. You got a real
No.
job in the morning to go to.